So it's Saturday night and I almost forgot to go live today. How annoying would that have been, getting to the end of the month and realising that I hadn't kept up with my everyday video. More to the point, I would have broken a habit that I had started. And I think once you break a habit, it's really easy then to go, do you know, I'll just leave it for another day. Nobody will have noticed the fact that I wasn't here, so we'll just miss it. But the reality is that I would have noticed, and I would have known, not so much that I would have noticed, I would have known that I hadn't come on here and done the video that I said I was going to do every day. So I think we're in now to the 30th of January, and I have been posting a video every single day. Some of them, to be honest, have just been rubbish because I've just come on and thought, gosh, what am I going to talk about today? Others, I've been sharing little bits of an insight. I thought I would just come on and be pretty quick today because, as I said, it's late on a Saturday night, and I just want to make sure that I'm keeping up with the consistency, because if you've been following along with these videos, you'll realise that I'm not doing them for the likes and the follows, etc. I'm doing them for my own personal development. So I'm here to share my own journey with myself, my own growth, and to work out where all of this takes me. I was having a conversation with a friend today, and we're about to put up something on Clubhouse, and we were just generally chatting about women in particular and how women tend to sell themselves short. Hi, Claire. How women tend to sell themselves short. So if you go through and you look at the bios of men, for example, or you go on to, say, ClickFunnels, or you go on to any of the other sites where you have men promoting themselves, they're always in there saying, I'm a high ticket closer. And I'm only saying that because I was actually on a call with a high ticket closer the other day. And they like to talk about how many sales they got. Oh yeah, I closed 100,000 in sales. I closed 6 lots of 100,000 in sales. I sold 10,000 in sales. I did this. I spoke to this one. I got here. I've got this. I've got that. I've got so much success. And then you look at the women, and you don't find so many women who are doing that, or if they are doing it, you can kind of tell by the way that they present themselves that they don't feel comfortable in their own skin when they're out there talking about themselves and their accomplishments. So the general observation that we had is that women in general tend to sell themselves short. We don't think that we should go out there and say, hey, I've got this, I've accomplished this, I have this level of success, I've earned this amount of money, I've got a sports car in the garden, but hey, I'm not going to show it to you because if I show it to you, I might be bragging. And we wonder then why men end up going so much further ahead than us, when in reality they're probably not that much further ahead than us, but we just tend not to be out there telling our own story as it is. We play everything down. We sell ourselves short. I think there's probably quite a lot of reasons for that. I think women tend to fear the tempting of fate. So if you go out there, for example, and you say, hey, I'm a $100,000 earner, then you're worried that if you go out there and say that, you're going to tempt fate, and that's not going to happen for you again. Or you're showing off, and you're worried about what other people are going to say about you. Whereas I think men tend not to have those kinds of concerns. So I think this is something that we're going to do. My friend and I are just going to put ourselves out there, and we're going to talk about everything that we've accomplished. Yeah, I think, Claire, it's one that women struggle with in general. And like, I get it. I absolutely get it, because I'm there too. And I've been reading this really interesting book called Six Figure Women. And I'm listening to the book. And as I've been listening to the book, I'm thinking to myself, and I'm scratching my head going, you know, I'm one of those women. I am one of those high income generating women, but I don't tell anybody. I keep it to myself. I keep it a secret because what if I don't stay here? What if I fail? What if this happens? What if I'm rubbing it in? What if other people think I'm bragging? And the reality is, what if other people think you're bragging? Does it really matter? Are you there for other people, or are you there for yourself? I know that whenever I go out and I do my work, I'm not working for anybody else. I'm working for me. I'm working to promote myself. I'm working to grow my own career. I've always worked to promote my own career. I've never gone after promotion to please anybody else. I've gone after promotions because I've wanted them. I've asked for the higher salary because I want the money. I'm not going to sit about and say, oh, you know, it's okay. The man next door earns 100,000, but it's okay if you pay me 75,000. That's fine. That's enough. I don't really need any more than 75,000. I can survive on that. But that's the kind of stuff that we say. We tend to go out there and we tend to say, yes, 75,000 is fine. I can easily get by on that. It doesn't matter. No, pay him more because he's got a family to support. And then you're scratching yourself, scratching your head saying, hang on a second here. I've got a family to support as well. And I'm worthy of the exact same amount of money. And I think that's where it all goes wrong for us. We sell ourselves short. For some reason, we don't think that we deserve to earn the same as the man next door. Or if we do it, we don't want to talk about it. And you find in the working environment as well, women tend not to discuss the salaries, whereas the guys are there going, hey, I just got a $50,000 salary rise or whatever else. And then his male counterpart is into the boss asking for that amount of money too. Men just tend to push for it, but we don't. We stand back and we accept whatever is coming our way. Well, the reality is that that's not what I did. I always used to push for more. Express how I was feeling, and if I didn't get it, then I would move and go somewhere else and get the amount of money that I wanted to be paid. But from my own point of view, I've never really talked about it. I've never really talked about my level of success. I've never really talked about the money, etc., etc. And I think it's one thing that I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start going out there and I'm going to talk about it, because I earned my first six figures when I was, now we're going back 20 years now, but 20 years ago when I was 30 and when I was a lawyer. And I pushed for that money. I pushed really hard and I asked for it. And I got the money that I wanted. It wasn't really something that I talked about at the time, but the reality was that I got that six figures 20 years ago. But I just don't find that women go out there and share it enough. For me, earning the six figures was never a big issue. What the big issue was staying a six-figure earner whenever you've got all of that self-doubt and so forth going on in your head. So as you move from one job to the next and you're going back in and you're trying to get the same salary or a higher salary, and then trying to juggle everything in your life so that you can stay in that place and stay in that high income. I've always been there. I've stayed there since I was about 30 years of age, but I don't tell anybody these kind of things. I keep it to myself because, you know, you shouldn't talk about it. Well, maybe we should start to talk about it. And maybe we would be able to knock down more of the glass ceilings that are out there, or the glass ceiling that is allegedly out there, if more of us were to go out there and talk about it. And then we would get a much more realistic understanding of what women are being paid in general and what we need to do. I mean, imagine if a whole group of women got together in an office environment, typically and somewhat sadly, I'm just bringing this up, see what Grant says here, somewhat sadly, the best salary is when we first go in. Yeah, I know, and that's absolutely the case, Grant. You go in and you ask for a certain amount and you get that rise, and then it becomes really, really difficult to go back then afterwards. My experience is that women tend to go in and get that better salary to start with, and then they don't go back and have any more discussions. I'd love to hear from you as a man as to how you've found that in your working environment. Are you able to, do men tend to go back then and negotiate for more and more and more along the way? I certainly found that I didn't. I would, like you said, go in on the higher salary, and then it was more difficult, and I ended up leaving jobs because I maybe didn't get what I wanted. So I would leave and I would go somewhere else. And I used to always question that from the point of view of the business, and then being a business owner and also being a partner where I was responsible for the salaries. I would go back there and say, look, pay the money and keep the people happy. Just you judge yourself, go out there and don't wait to be asked, but pay the staff more if they're worthy. And if they're not worthy, then of course let them go. But you're absolutely right. But what I've found is that women tend not to go back and discuss it. They go in and they get the salary at the beginning. They probably get paid slightly less than they deserve because they're too afraid to ask for more. And then they get stuck in a place that is difficult to get out of. So, I mean, as I said, I think that a lot of us are selling ourselves short. And I think in the world that we're in nowadays, where we're on social media, so forth, and so many of us are selling things like online businesses, women in particular are not sharing their success stories. And I think they need to share their success stories so that they can inspire other women. So it's one of the things that I'm planning to do with a friend of mine. We're going to go on and we're going to share. So I am a six-figure income earner. I have been for a number of years. For me, earning six figures is not a big deal. What the big deal is staying there. It is staying there from the point of view of going in and, as Grant said, going in and asking for more so that your six figures doesn't become like 100,000 and then stay at 100,000 for 10 years. It's having the ability to go in there and push for more. And that takes confidence, and that's something that a lot of us don't have, especially whenever you are at home looking after children. There's always that great excuse in your mind of, I can't go in and ask for any more because I've got the kids at home, and if the kids are sick, then I need to take time off, so I'm maybe not worthy of the extra money. Or if you're someone who's self-employed and you're running your own business, have you got this stamina to get by day in and day out to continually make that money? And that's where I have succeeded. I have succeeded in having this stamina to keep me going. I keep myself fit, I keep myself healthy. I'm always practicing the mindset stuff. I'm always trying to stay mentally ahead of the game, thinking positively, sometimes pushing myself really outside of my comfort zone. Talking about what I earn, talk about what I do, talking about my success really pushes me outside of my comfort zone because I feel as if I'm bragging. But I'm not really bragging, am I? I'm really just saying it as it is. I'm telling everyone that it's difficult. I'm telling everyone that you need to really have your life in order to stay there in that place. So think about it. Think about yourself in your own situation. Are you selling yourself short? Are you going out there and telling people exactly who you are, exactly what you've achieved, or are you kind of hiding a little bit? Because the reality is, so just sharing some of Claire's comments is here, the energy, it is having the energy to keep it going, because you can get there, you can go out there and you can do the work to get that six figures, but then to stay doing that work and to know that it's not, you need to put in a different kind of effort each time that you're going through this. You might be able to, so I always talk about whenever you're going out marketing. So at the very beginning, you go out there and you market to, so you've got your A clients, your B clients, your C clients. Your A clients are your low-hanging fruit. So that's the people that are there, that have been following you, that have taken an interest in you. They're the people that you should be out there and be able to sell easily to. So you go out there and you sell to all of them, and then you've exhausted that list. And then you're into your B clients. And your B clients are the people that you know that you need to put a little bit of effort into. So you spend your time and your energy on your B clients, and you go out there and you market to them and you make some sales there. And then you find that you've exhausted that list, and then you're moving down again into your C's. And this is when it becomes difficult. So perhaps you've made that 6 figures on your A. With the B clients, you're getting close to it. Or maybe you've made 150,000, for example, on your A. You've done maybe 90 on your B, but it's getting really, really tough. And then you're moving into your C. So it's difficult to keep taking the people that are in the C and pushing them up to the B and pushing them up to the A, because you've got to go further afield. You've got to go and try new tactics, etc. And that all takes time, and it takes effort, and it takes energy. And energy is where a lot of us struggle, because energy doesn't just come from your body and your ability to go and exercise. It also comes from your mindset and knowing what to do next. And that's where things become quite difficult. That's where you need to have the energy. It's where you need to be full of energy and have lots of connection points, etc. So that's where it becomes difficult, I think, to keep ahead of the game and to stay there in that high 6-figure income bracket. So yeah, I'm going to start sharing a lot more of the strategies that I've adopted over the time. Anyone who's followed me knows that the kinds of things that I do are the exercise, and I don't kill myself. I just make sure that I exercise at the start of the day to get my mind pumping. So exercise, so much mindset, and really, really healthy connections as well. And sometimes those healthy connections need to be competitors, because that way you've got people to learn from. So I've got Grant here saying, let's bring it up. Agree that many people don't feel comfortable at all pushing for what they deserve. I think this is especially a risk early in people's careers, being too nice. Yeah. Yeah, no, I know there are good. There's definitely some good female negotiators. I like to think I've done all right myself in the negotiation side of things, but I feel really bad. I see so many people who downplay themselves. I think it's pretty sad to see. But you know, I think a lot of it is energy as well, Grant. I think the more energized you are, the healthier you are, the more confidence you've got. And at the end of the day, a lot of this is about having confidence, selling yourself, promoting yourself, staying ahead of the game, and earning the money. To me, it's energy and it's confidence as well. But the confidence can come if you're mentally and physically strong. So there you go. This was meant to be a really quick 5 minutes on whether we are selling ourselves short and what we do about it. And it's turned into almost 20 minutes. If I have to give you one bit of advice, that one bit of advice has to be feel the fear and do it anyway. Everything is scary. The reality is that the only thing that you can control is right here and now. You have absolutely no idea what the future holds for you. How annoyed would you be to be sitting there knowing that you could have done more? You could have looked after yourself more. You could have promoted yourself more. There's nothing worse than regret. I always think about a high school teacher, a high school headmaster actually, and he used to stand in front of us every morning, and he used to say, I can't remember his exact words now, but it was basically that, what if? And that's, I think, where we all have to be. We have to ask ourselves that question, what if we don't do it? And then again, what if we do? So you need to feel the fear and do it anyway. Go out there and ask for it. Talk about your success. There are people who want to hear it. And if there's people who don't want to hear it, then that's fine. They can just unfollow you, switch off from you, call you big-headed. Do you really care? Do you really care? So the bragging is in your head. If you think you're bragging, then you're trying to put yourself into someone else's shoes and you're thinking what they might be thinking. Don't do that. talk about it, be an inspiration, share your story. And if you've been successful, share it. Tell other people how you've been successful so that you can inspire them and give them everything that they need to help them to get to that place too. So it is Saturday night in the Cayman Islands. It is 8:45 p.m. And since it's Saturday, I'm going to relax, and I think I'm going to go now and sit down with some nice herbal tea and read my book. And I will be back tomorrow. I have almost posted a video every day so far for the month of January. If you've been watching, I'm planning to do this every day for the whole of 2021 for no reason other than to see the extent to which this grows me as an individual. If you go back and happen to look at my day one video, you will see just how uncomfortable I was. I had absolutely no idea what to talk about, and I struggled. We're getting now to the end of the month, and I've come on here and I have talked for over 21 minutes, switching on the camera with no idea what I was going to chat about. I basically sat down at my computer, kind of looked at it for a couple of minutes and thought, right, I'm going to talk about selling yourself short. And then I switched it on. So I will see you back tomorrow. Thank you, Grant, and thank you, Claire, for listening. I appreciate you very much. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you back on my next video. Good night, everyone.